At least now we can be able to say that the first sprint race qualifying session of 2026 is behind us. And there are quite a number of things that you can be able to pick from that particular session. But for me, I also picked something that I think indicates how intentional teams are when it comes to moving forward and continuing to improve the packages that they have, as well as extracting as much performance from what they have as they can. And this is different from the situation that we had in Melbourne, and it is understandable because the Australian Grand Prix was the first race of the season, so nobody knew where they stood in terms of performance, in terms of what it is that they have been able to create, because that was the first time that they were also seeing, everyone at their best during a race weekend. And the team that I think is actually doing this, or is trying very hard to, get back in front of the grid, is Mclaren. And to be able to see Lando Norris, qualifying P3 in the sprinters qualifying session, and Oscar Piastri qualifying P5, that I think to me is a statement of intentions. If this is the first time that you and I are meeting, I am Joe, and on this YouTube channel, I talk about Formula One and the business of Formula One. And I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. After the Australian Grand Prix, McLaren and Williams are reported to have been surprised at the gap that they had between them and Mercedes F1 team. But it does seem that while Williams are still struggling, at least they also have the weight issues, McLaren seem to have found something, or at least are starting to understand their car, and are starting to claw back or try to close that gap between them and Mercedes. Now, of course, that does not mean that might remain the case. We need to see them over the next couple of races. At least during this race weekend in China, they have the sprint race to prove that what they are doing is moving in the right direction. And at the same time, they have the race on Sunday to again get back on track and continue trying to test, or probably trying to figure out whether what they are doing is helping them to claw back or to close the gap between them and Mercedes. For me, McLaren is the team that I picked from this sprint race qualifying session, and I'll be watching how they are going to perform during the sprint race, the qualifying for the race on Sunday, as well as watch how they are going to perform on Sunday, because I want to see if there is consistency in them taking a step forward, and whether there will be an indication that probably McLaren over the course of the next couple of races might actually become competitive to start probably learning or fighting for pole position, as well as probably winning Formula One races. And given that they're actually the defending world champion, and Lando Norris is also a defending champion, I think it's good to see them starting to get a handle of their package, to start taking steps towards becoming a winning team again. This is going to be it on this particular video, and I do hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and I'm going to see you in my next video.